We are honored to introduce our three guest speakers to discuss the theme of women entrepreneurship, challenges in the MENA region, and success stories. Reine Abbas, entrepreneur, founder of Spica and co-founder of Wixel Studios. Reine is one of the first female game designers in the Middle East. She is the CEO and co-founder of Wixel Studios, the first independent gaming company in Lebanon, and one of the first in the MENA region. Established in 2008, Reine is also the founder and managing partner of Spica and one of the official jurors in the International Mobile Gaming Awards. Célia Corneil, entrepreneur, founder of Kandeel and MENA. Célia is the associate founder of the Kandeel Design Office and of the tour and bicycle rental service MENA, which are both based in Tunisia. With Kandeel, Célia works along with Tunisian authorities on projects of sustainable mobility and town planning. With MENA, Célia and her team work in a participatory self-governance format for the development of cycling and the discovery of Tunisian heritage. Ines Cheniour, entrepreneur, founder of COMMITT. Ines was the head of promotion and information at Laval University, where she innovated in the orientation approach to future students by adopting a student-centered design approach. Ines founded COMMITT, a committed consulting firm, combining a school department and a research camp, a development department specialized in innovation methodologies and democratizing learning experiences. And here's the host of the WOMENTUM Digital Saloon, Chaima Bouhlel. Harvard graduate, Chaima is a regular commentator on current affairs, politics, and public policy matters in Tunisian media and a civil society activist.
So welcome to the fourth Digital Saloon as part of the WOMENTUM project brought to you by the LEAD Initiative. It's an honor to be among you once again and to facilitate the discussion around an extremely urgent and important topic, which is the reality of women entrepreneurship in the MENA region. What challenges exist and how does success look like? Let's hear more about the topic in the following video. Statistics show that women in the Arab region are twice more likely to be unemployed than men. In fact, the world's highest unemployment rate is witnessed in Arab countries. This is why it is essential to work towards women empowerment in the economic sector, to train them in entrepreneurial skills, and to guide them in establishing businesses in the MENA countries. By doing so, female entrepreneurs could result in an important increase in the economy of those countries and help achieve more inclusive and sustainable economic development in the MENA region. It is also paramount to point out the different challenges and hardships that women in the MENA region face while trying to launch their own businesses, from gender-based discrimination to motherhood to problems in financing their projects. Arab women often find themselves discouraged and lacking opportunities to be able to embark in entrepreneurship. Despite those challenges, it is important to acknowledge and celebrate successful female entrepreneurs who continue to inspire others and make a positive change in the MENA region. In this fourth edition of the WOMENTUM Digital Saloon, we are honored to invite our high-scale guests and partners of women's rights organizations and grassroots movements to reflect on the different dynamics of being a female entrepreneur in the MENA countries, to provide a comparative perspective on the opportunities that Arab women have to engage in business and entrepreneurship in the region and beyond, and to provide space for women entrepreneurs to inspire and share their success stories. Welcome back. I am honored to introduce our honorable guests for today's discussion. You've already had an idea about them, but they're joining us from different backgrounds and different backgrounds, but something in common, which is their passion and their drive for excellence. I will start with Célia. Célia, you are a female entrepreneur working on two different projects, but you bring in your background and your perspective as a woman in them. Can you tell us a little bit about what makes it special to being a female entrepreneur in the context that you found yourself in starting these two projects?
Thank you, Chaima. On my part, being a female entrepreneur was kind of a challenge in Tunisia because I'm a woman, but I'm also young, and I'm also foreigner. So 3 things that make me really different from a lot of my partner in my field, as I'm working a lot with ministry, with local administration, where I have mainly for representatives men who are like 50 years old. So I'm kind of different, clearly, and I have to prove that I can give them some new idea. And so that was the first challenge. And then the second challenge I had is that most of them were thinking that, okay, she's a foreigner, so that's the idea she has. Yeah, maybe it's possible in France, in the US, or somewhere else, but really in Tunisia, no, not possible at all. That's true. So I have to deconstruct that things that idea that in Tunisia it's impossible, and I really hear this sentence so much, but really now I'm I'm used to that. But that was the first thing to challenge here in Tunisia, and also what is specific when you're speaking about riding a bike and about public space in Tunisia, which are the 2 fields that I'm really studying in Tunisia with my urban planning firm and with Le Lebanese, is that being a woman in the public space is completely different from being a man. So, for example, with Le Lebanese, we have like 70% of female clients, and this is a very easy to understand. Is when you're a man, it's okay to ride a bike wherever you are in Tunisia. On the other hand, if you're a woman, you're feeling more comfortable than men, and being in a group like we propose in Lebanese, it feels people more comfortable, it feels women more comfortable, and so that's why we have so many women.
So you embarking in the entrepreneurship field, which I know is different from your previous professional background, was in a way proposing solutions that are quite specific to a group that you identify to, among other groups. Do you think only a woman would have been able to capture this need in the market, or is this happens to be specific to your case? Do we need more women to respond to women's needs, or is this just a secondary effect of women being in entrepreneurship?
If I take the example of Le Lebanese, we are 3 co-founders, 2 men and a woman. And I think that what is important is to bring the difference. You don't have to be a woman, you don't have to be a man, but to be both parts of the same, and to have different perspective, and to enrich yourself with those different perspectives is very important. So for me, of course, I had a completely different view from my co-founder, but that was okay. The most important is to talk and to exchange your idea and point of view.
Thank you so much. Célia, we're going to come back to you in our second round of questions and dive more into the comparison between how is it like to be a female entrepreneur in different countries. But let me go to Reine. Reine, how did you get here into a field that is usually monopolized by men? Not only are we talking about entrepreneurship, but we're also talking about gaming, and not only as creators, but also as consumers. This is the perception that we have. So tell us more about you. How did you end up here, and how is it like? And then we'll go deeper in our questions.
Yeah, it was a crazy idea. Maybe the most crazy idea to open a gaming company studio in Lebanon first, not only in the region of Lebanon, where it was 2008, where we didn't even have this industry in our region. And till now, it's still poor because, there are more consumers than producers. Although this gaming industry is one of the biggest I think it's the biggest industry in the world, and you can create millions of jobs from this industry. So yeah, when I started, it was a crazy idea, especially that again in Lebanon, where you don't have infrastructure, internet, electricity, nothing, no support even from any sector. But we did it. We opened the gaming studio in Lebanon, and we scaled really fast in the region because we looked at the need of the region for the gamification, the advert games, and everything. Especially that before I opened this company, I was working with Digipen Nintendo for 6 years, and I left this big job, the safe job, to become an entrepreneur. Although I didn't know that I was an entrepreneur because I didn't hear about this word before. So all that I wanted is to create my own games that talks about my culture, games that I can change my reality through these games. This was, if you want, my vision or my motivation to take this risk and open one of the first gaming studios in the region.
So you took the risk and you wanted to make your vision happen. Tell us about the reality. How is the ecosystem actually like when you actually start?
Again, we started with before we opened the company, we did a really successful game. It was called Duma, means puppets. The purpose of the game to change our reality in Lebanon. So I wanted all the young people to go from the street and go online and play street fight game between the politicians. And because of the success of this game and with the change we did, I opened the company. I started like 2 free games online. Still, it was really successful. And here it was the reality. Okay, I need to start, raising money, gaining money. I need to live from this startup. And here we went to the region. We started to look what's the need of the region, how we can really be profitable from this business. The challenge was to really convince these clients or these channels that gamification is really important. Advert games means if a product, you do a game to promote this product. So this mindset and this gamification advert games was really booming in all over the world, but not in our region. So the first challenge was to convince the people, the businesses in our region that this is better than any advertising or any marketing. It took us a little bit time, but then we had really big clients from the beginning. And we started to make these games for these clients, these services, to grow our business.
And, we talked a lot now, you talked about your experience as an entrepreneur, but our topic is about women entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there was any difference? Yes. Was there? I wish there wasn't, but tell us, what was it like being a woman in this world? And it's double-edged, right? Entrepreneurship and in gaming.
Yeah. So again, in this time, 2008, we didn't have, again, this entrepreneurship system in our region, or even me, I didn't hear about this word, entrepreneur. And again, on the other side, in the gaming industry, I didn't know when I was working with the Japan Nintendo and I started to be an entrepreneur, that we were few in the industry. How did I know? The first prize, international prize that I was selected by Inc.com, one of the 5 most powerful women in gaming in history. So I was happy, but why? Why they selected 5 women first? Why women? And why they are putting us in a category? So why, we are another species than man? For me, why? I wanted to know why I'm in the category, because in all my, in everything I did, I didn't notice that. I didn't think about this woman, girl, all this. So I did my research, why we are in one category, and I discovered that in the gaming industry till now, at this moment, we are less than 15% in this industry. Especially, let's talk about the leaders or CEOs or founders. I think we are 3%. Especially in our region, to go back to our region, I was the first founder, first CEO, first female developer in the region. So I discovered all this because of this selection. And here I started my journey and my new mission, not only to grow the gaming industry in our region, also to to grow this number, especially in our region. I didn't care first about the word. I wanted to talk more with girls to boost them in technology, to introduce this industry, the gaming industry. And this is why one of my missions, like I said, I started to do it through panels. Anywhere I'm invited to talk, I started to do it. And then I started to be invited worldwide to boost girls in Europe and the gaming industry in tech and USA, all over the world. So, it was a discovery for me. It was a shock. But this is my mission. I'm still doing it, especially in my second business, Spica Tech, the academy. Also, it was one of the first gaming academy in the region. And also through my academy, I'm trying to boost girls in technology and coding and in the gaming industry through my academy. Sometimes I do it for free for girls, sometimes 50%. And I work with a lot of NGOs to educate these girls.
We'll get back. Thank you, Reine. We'll get back to how do we handle challenges in introducing more women and girls into the different worlds that you come from. But you do point out a very important part, which is we can't disconnect the personal from the professional. We're talking about women entrepreneurs as a professional choice, but it's very connected to who we are as people and our personal missions in life. So we will definitely get back to that. So thank you. We have Ines now, who is bringing a new approach to consulting, one that is perhaps more sensible, more responsible. Ines, you will tell us a little bit about what you think the recipe for your success was and what impact you have, and then we'll dive more into being a female entrepreneur in this world of consulting.
Yeah, the recipe of success. This is a good question. I would say I can give you the ingredient. I'm not sure for the recipe. I think every one of us should take this ingredient and cook it in a way that it fits with the personality. So first of all, do it. jump, just start somewhere and do it. Not just keep thinking about entrepreneurship or about innovation. Start something. Second thing is about trust your intuition and yourself in a way that I think, from my perspective, I was really believing in my deep inside that I'm doing something right. So this you needed to move forward because even though there is some obstacle, there is some doubt, you always need to go back to yourself and to ask yourself, am I doing the right thing and how can I change it differently? The third thing is hard work. Hard work. From my perspective, the way I see it is I'm trying to having fun and to keep the pleasure of working and this playground in my project, so I can keep the passion. From the moment I feel tired, I don't like it, I have boring project, I stop it and I try to reframe it in a way that I can have fun with it. So this can helps to actually to find the strength to keep moving forward even though it's hard. So this is how, and actually in my company I always say this, keep it fun. We need to have this fun. Keep yourself open, be in this people oriented, human oriented. So it's much more comfortable to be people oriented than being business oriented, because with people you get back and money will be a result, not a goal. So this is how I can maybe summarize my 6 years of entrepreneurship till now.
And that's a very positive approach. And I wanted us to start with that and then move to the challenges that you have faced. So we set a positive, constructive tone, but I think it's also important to be very realistic. So now tell us a little bit about the challenges of doing all of that from your perspective.
Yeah, the first challenge as an entrepreneur, and after that I will tell you as a woman. the first challenge as an entrepreneur is to open a market. When I started with design thinking in 2015, nobody else used to talk about design thinking. I had to work behind the scene and to communicate about my work. And in 2018, so 3 years after that, when the market was ready for that, I was already there. So this was the first challenge: is to work like 3 years before getting any result and before placing yourself in the scene. The second challenge, I would say, as an entrepreneur, is to find the balance between the social and the business. In the beginning, I wanted to be a social business. I was much more focused on the social than in the business, so it didn't work. And after a while, I had to stop at some point and to say, okay, no, I need to think more business-wise. And to keep the social, it's already there. So I don't need to work more on the social side. So it's like embed in the whole company and in the whole mindset of human-centered design. After that, as a woman, I would say, in Tunisia, I have the feeling that if you are a woman without a man next to you, it's like you are missing something. You have an arm less or something. It's like something is missing. So you always need to have to do extra effort to show that you are capable, you deserve it. But fortunately, for me, from my perspective, from my experience, my mom was an entrepreneur. And I had this role model. And I also had all her support during my ascension. So she was always with me, with words, with money, with encouragement. And I think surrounding yourself, family, friends, people who trust you is very, very, very important. It's kind of like you have to have your nest to protect yourself as a woman. I have also many friends of mine who are male friends who are always supporting me, even during my down. It's like, keep moving, we believe in you, you are doing very great. And, so this is very important, I think. Another thing, maybe in COMMITT, sometimes we say maybe it's a female consulting firm, because I find it a bit hard to actually recruit men working with me. Because I think in Tunisia, we still refuse to work for a woman. It's like, who are you to work for you? So I don't need to. I don't need to learn from you, and I don't want a woman to be my boss. So I think we still have some limits, let's say. So we have a lot of women in COMMITT. We have some men that are really great, and we are working hard to make this COMMITT like really, how to say, gender respectful, so I believe that at some point I will reach the 50% of women and 50% of men, but I think it's still hard a bit.
I wish everyone was thinking like you, Ines, men or women who are trying to reach the gender balance. If that had happened, the reality would be different. But thank you. You mentioned a lot that here in Tunisia, the context is, and you described it, and it's definitely real based on what you have lived. And this will take me back to Célia, who is from two different countries. She's functioning or an entrepreneur in Tunisia, but also is from France. And if you can tell us, are they different? Is it different being a female entrepreneur in Tunisia from other countries? What are the similarities, if they exist, and what are the differences?
So I can't speak for every country, but in Tunisia, I think that the first things that really surprised me was the relation to time. I mean, time value was not the same in Tunisia than in France. I was in Paris, and everybody is always in a rush, and 5 minutes is 5 minutes, And then you arrive in Tunisia, and you understand that at first during Ramadan or during summer, people are only working during the morning and not during the afternoon. So you have to face this new planning for you. And but I think that was very interesting because at the moment, at first, I was always pissed off about these things, and I had always the feeling that I was losing my time. And then I thought, okay, that's a new time perspective, and maybe I have to think about what is important, what is not important. So maybe I have to spend like 1 hour in administration. Okay, it's okay. I take my time. I know that I have 1 hour to spend in all this public administration and so on. So that was the first thing that was really different for me. And then maybe another thing quite different between France and Tunisia is, and this is really an advantage being in Tunisia, is that I have the feeling that Ines was speaking about it, to bring something new and to bring something valuable for people. When I was in France, I mean, there is hundreds of urban planning and hundreds of renting bike services in France. Whereas when you're in Tunisia, you're bringing something very special. There is really few bike tours. There is really few people thinking about mobility and sustainable mobility, like pedestrian mobility, bike mobility. So I have this energy that was bringing from the field. But okay, that's something new, and that's something really great that I'm bringing here. So I think that's the two things, and yeah, I think that's the two really different things.
So these are two different things in the entrepreneurship scene between both countries. You don't think that being a woman in France or in Tunisia makes a huge difference. So these are things that are just basically different for any entrepreneur, whether male or female, or you don't think there are key differences between being a woman entrepreneur in Tunisia or in the MENA region or other countries. Okay. Yeah. Do you have...
yeah, maybe for that question, I think that in Tunisia, we are putting more the accent on the fact that I'm a woman than in France. But I think that in France, as in Tunisia, being a woman is special, as Reine was saying, in our field, and I think that's common to the three of us. We are very few women being CEO or co-founder or founder of companies. So that's the difference, and I think this is the same being in France or in Tunisia about it.
Okay, thank you. I think, Ines, you had something you wanted to build upon on that idea. The floor is yours if you want to rebound on that question.
Yeah, actually, I want to rebound on this question. I lived in Canada for 10 years, and I think I went there from when I was 21, and I came back to Tunisia when I was 31. It took me 8 years to work on accepting my femininity and the fact that I'm a woman. 8 years in Canada, really trying to reconnect and to accept and to just like enjoy myself. When I came back to Tunisia, when I was 31, I said, okay, now I'm ready. I'm strong enough. I'm not the young woman who was 20, who was facing a lot of harassment in the street, in the job. So now I can face this thing. And I can tell you that there is a big difference between being a woman in Canada and being a woman in Tunisia. Because being a woman in Canada, actually, you are just human being. So what's your value? What are you bringing? And what your work is talking about you. So when you meet people, nobody puts the fact that you are a woman on the table for discussion, you know. In Tunisia, it's different. We start by considering that you are a woman. Then, as Célia said, you are young. You know, I started when I was 32, 33, and some of my clients used to say, oh, but you are so young. I didn't expect that, and the other thing is that, so you always need to overcome this in the conversation. You always need to reframe. Okay, the conversation is about the job, not about me. So I think this took at least like 3, 4, 5 years, I would say. Not everywhere, not with everybody, but clearly it's something that is part of the equation and part of the journey of women entrepreneurs here. And I always say, yeah, in Canada, I was just a human being living there. In Tunisia, I'm a woman. And I don't know if it's more comfortable to be a woman. I really prefer to be just a human being and a woman in my private world.
Yeah, thank you, Ines, for that. Reine, that's kind of what you were talking about when you said, why am I in my special category in terms of awards? Do you think now, if you think back at it, you kind of hinted to the answer, but I think we need to go deeper in that before we talk about the future of women entrepreneurship in gaming or in any other field. Do we have to be our own category? Is it more accurate in describing the reality? Is it hindering the way we can deal or empower women? Tell me more.
I'll tell you something. Usually, I don't accept to go on any panel or any stage or anything that only women. So Wissam saved you today. Really, because I, for me, why they have to put me in a category? For me, especially in my industry, I worked with men. I proved that I didn't have to prove at the beginning that I'm better. I worked hard, and I went from digital artist and Digital Nintendo to head of department. I wanted to learn more. I was like really working like day and night, weekends, to improve my skills as game designer and a developer. I cried a lot of nights to learn these skills that I didn't have this in Lebanon in any university or education back then. It was 2000, so the year I graduated. So for me, why I don't accept to put me in category. I'm not a different species. I can compete. I can think. I can be great. I can do whatever I want and whatever the man can do. For me, if we will still put women in category, especially in competitions for women, panels for women, women in business. How they say women in business till now, women entrepreneur, women creative, women innovative, women in games. Why if we will keep doing this, we are saying we're still different from men. So for me, we have to change this mindset or this strategy, and we have to mix everyone in any industry and any business together.
Let me play the devil's advocate, if you may.
But wait, you don't have to prove anything anymore.
Of course, and I think we all agree that we're all human beings and we're all equal. But you did mention that when you look at the numbers, the number of women who are in entrepreneurship is clearly very different than men. The number of women in gaming in Lebanon, and the more you add layers, the more clear the disparities are. So are you saying we need to not cater to these differences? We should just leave it for nature to take care of it, of the representation? Or is there something that needs to be done? Perhaps categories like the awards, but what do you propose?
Yeah. So, like I said before, when I started talking, it was my talk before after Célia, I said that I discovered that we are few, or they are putting us in category from the first selection, from the first award. So, in my research, I discovered that education is the problem, and how we are raising girls, the movies, the books, the cartoons, the toy store. If you enter any toy store in any part of the world, when you enter the section of the girls, it's all pink. You have big eyes looking at you. It's all dolls. And like you are telling girls, this is your job. Like you be a mom, changing, for babies, you have to raise kids. This is your job in the world. And if the dolls, recently they changed Barbie. They gave her like more career, like a different career. But still, if you go to the section of the girls, still it's so stupid and silly. If you go to the section of the boys, it's violent. If you go to a section where it's really interesting, educational, you can like work on the brain of both genders, it's boring. So till now, the way we are educating girls and boys is the problem. And this is the solution, not putting panels for women and only putting them in categories. There's something missing in us. That's why they put us aside. The education, how we talk to women. Why? I will never answer anyone when they ask me, how do you manage your life between work and family? I will never answer this. Just if they start to ask this question to men. Why they don't ask men this question? Because me, I'm divorced, single mom. I have 3 kids, and during my entrepreneurship journey, I had 3 kids during this journey. It was challenging for me, but I raised investment while I was pregnant in my second child. My belly was growing during these meetings, and I raised the investment. I noticed the eyes of the investors like growing with my belly every time. Can she do it? We are giving her $1 million, so she can do it. Do you think she can? So I had to do like double effort to convince them. Hey, I'm pregnant, but I'm not sick. I can do it. So yes, there's an effort you have to put. My partners also, I needed always to prove them I'm not sick. I don't have back pain. I'm okay. Don't worry about it. So yes, this is an effort. Of course, I know, and also to raise 3 kids, to take them to the company with me, to manage my time. But they don't. But anything we do as women, they will criticize us. If you are dedicated, means you're not taking care of your family. If you work hard, you take care of yourself, you are so you have a really big ego. And whatever we say, whatever we do, they criticize us. So this is the education. This is how we are. This is because we are raising their kids, their boys, the education. Again, the books, the schools. Till now, putting they are illustrating the woman in the kitchen, waiting for the kids to come from the school. Reading a book, waiting for everyone to come because the food is ready. So till now, this is how they are illustrating us in the books. So the strategy, if you want. The plan is to change the education, the media, and everything we are teaching our kids, girls and boys. It will take maybe 20 years more, but this is the way. This is the way. And this is our mission, us here in this panel, to also to make sure that we do it. How? In everything we do. In the games I'm producing, in the games I'm producing, and in the education we're doing, everything we're doing, we're publishing, we should change this reality.
And that is something that will be the closing point, but will be the point of focus in our last round. Reine, thank you for that. I will get back to Célia, and this will be your closing remarks as well. What needs to be done for us to look at women in entrepreneurship in 10 years and say, wow, there was a difference? I mean, Reine was very skeptical of the approach that is existent. Is there real impact of projects or programs that are tailored to women? Is this the approach? What needs to happen in your point of view and in your experience, Célia?
Yeah, I was really listening very carefully to Reine, because I think about education, there is a thing to do for young girl, but also for young boy, because as Ines was saying, I'm also really more hiring women than men. And I was explaining that in a kind of different way than Ines. I thought that girls in Tunisia and maybe in more countries are really more independent than men, because at home they're doing everything, so they're very autonomous. On the other part, men, when they're arriving on the labor field, they don't know how to do anything. So we really have to take them by the hand and, okay, now you're writing an email, now you have to phone to this person and so on. So yeah, I really have hard time sometimes with boys, because that was very hard for me to have people with so few autonomy. Whereas women, for example, I have someone in my team, she has no special studying background, but she has just the baccalaureate. I don't know what's the term in Tunisian grade, but but she's very, she really know what to do and she always have something to do, and that's great. Especially because at Elementu we have an organization with self-management. We have circle of decision, and every circle is autonomous to take decision. And I think it really works because there is women inside of this group. Because sometimes, men, they're just waiting something happening. That's my experience. And so for entrepreneurs to really being developed by women, I had quite a different vision of Reine on this kind of program, because I think that this is important to show example, a woman example, to show to little girl that, okay, let's see, there is woman, they're entrepreneur, they're CEO, they're doing something, so you can do it again. That's the same. So I think that's a part of being a woman entrepreneur, to say, okay, I can be an example for someone, and that's great.
I think then you will have time to maybe add nuance to what you were saying, because perhaps you're not really disagreeing on this point. So Célia, you think in 10 years we will see change? Or are we just on a very steady trajectory of change that is very low, and probably it will be the same for women? Are you expecting to see more? Is this going to be like a snowball effect where more women will show up because they see examples? Or is there something specific we need to work on? Education seems to be like a recurring theme and suggestion. So moving forward, you talked about men as well, and that's an interesting approach. If you want to empower women, we need to also empower men. But what else would you say needs to happen?
I'm not a specialist of this question, but what I see, what I see in my field is that when we are speaking about local administration and national administration in Tunisia, there is really a lot of men and old men. And this kind of person are very, they have the idea, they have a very strict opinion about how things have to be done and how things have to be, how it works. And this is about, circle of power thing. These men are introducing men that look like them. So I think that when this part of the Tunisian society is going to retire, maybe it's going to change, and there will be young. And I don't think that what I see, young people are not. They're kind of mature about this question, and they're not speaking about, okay, she's a woman, she can't do that. For example, we have to repair bikes. Here it's okay if it's a woman that is repairing bike, or if it's a man. We don't have this question on our team about this kind of action that can be really gendered.
Thank you, Célia. You really stress the natural change that's social, that is coming with new generations, and that you think that it needs to also impact the administration for it to free or to reduce the challenges that face men and women, but that will be more reduced because women are less represented in the administration, and younger women. So you think that there is some kind of natural change that will happen once that representation is changed. Thank you for that, Ines. We're posing the same and reflecting, out loud about the same issue. What do you see should happen for us to see some kind of change. And when we say change, we talk about like increasing the number of women who are entrepreneurs if they wish, or reducing the challenges. Both are indicators of change in the reality. The floor is yours.
What I have seen in my experience in hackathon and in a competition for innovation is, unfortunately, every time you have a team of women, they are weak. I mean, the idea is weak, but also from the moment you give them feedback, they start crying and they abandon and they don't want to keep moving in the hackathon. And I realized, observing this, especially for female engineers, I realized that I think some women need to work much more on their strengths, but I don't recommend to make teams of women. I recommend to have mixed teams in everywhere. So everywhere I go, I try to have in the group enough men and enough women, and the more we put the teams working together, the two genders working together, I think the more we empower women. So I joined Reine when she said that I don't like too much to talk about women entrepreneurship. Me too. I mean, I believe that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm facing the same challenges as another entrepreneur. But I think also it's our responsibility as a woman to empower other women, to inspire other women, and to help other women. Because even though I don't like the fact that we are perceived as a category ourselves, but reality showed me that I have been supported a lot by women around me, and I'm supporting a lot of women also around me. So I think we have to keep doing our part, promoting our encouraging other people and other women to move forward, and maybe to create more spaces where there is a gender balance. Maybe it's our responsibility to make sure that gender balance is there. Maybe this is
to make sure that I'm going to try to summarize that point because it's very important. You believe that gender balance is not just a sign of a healthy ecosystem, but it's also something that empowers itself or feeds off itself and can empower the different elements. And you have seen this in the different teams that you have worked with, that the presence of men and women actually brings out or reinforces both. Okay, so you think that reaching the gender balance will actually increase or improve the representation of women?
Definitely. I believe for me, for example, I mean, I work with a lot of women, but every time we have men in the group, there is something different. It's smooth. It's very interesting. It can go to there is a variety in the proposition and in the perspective. So I do believe that we should really reinforce the place of women by putting more men around with them. It doesn't mean that we should stay in minority, but always having a man in the team. I believe that this is what we need actually to not to talk anymore about women and men, but to talk about human beings.
Excellent. I see Reine smiling and I think agreeing. Thank you, Ines. The floor is yours, Reine, to rebound on that and tell us more about what solutions you are putting to the table to resolve the issue of categorization or isolating women when we talk about entrepreneurship.
Again, the solution you're talking about, Ines, it's a little bit difficult. It's more difficult, or maybe difficult in other or in different industries. Let's say in the tech industry, the gaming industry, again, edutech, education technology, again, because this is one of my businesses. One development publishing, the other education technology. it's hard to find like girls or women in this to recruit. If I say girls or women from for this industry, that's why one of my reasons I created this academy to have more girls again, to give them like this know-how and this power and this education, so they can enter these big industries, the tech industry. Again, we should do everything we can. So each has his like or her, like Ines, a different strategy, but everyone, like every one of us, we're doing the same. We want to empower women, girls. We want to change the education. It's a really big work, especially in schools. Not only the education system is already killing our kids' creativity, also raising our girls and boys really in this traditional old way till now. I think it's all over the world till now. And for me, again, education is not only math, science, reading, writing in school. We have really to focus on how we are raising these human beings to respect each others, to believe in their capacities. Because from my research I did, girls, when they are young, they believe they can do whatever they want, and while they are growing, because of the media and the family, maybe society, and I'm talking again, it's all over the world. They start to like take off this potential one after one, and they end up like okay, I can do maybe one thing, or like teacher or something, or I need to stay home because of, again, media, education, raising, and everything that's surrounding these girls. Let's talk again at the end of my talk in Europe. Again, I was invited in Germany, in different countries in the world, in Finland and Sweden, to empower girls there into technology, or to apply, to talk better, to apply for jobs, difficult jobs in difficult industries. So till now, the problem is worldwide. We still have to empower them, and we have to do whatever we can, anything we can, each in different industry in their own country, industry, job, anything, or in any media, in any way, to change this mindset. Because for me, if we really change and create really great mindset and powerful mindset, we can change any mountain in any society.
Thank you, Reine. That's definitely a positive note to end our discussion today. I think there were several key issues that were brought up, and that in this very deep conversation, I think clearly we cannot isolate the reality of entrepreneurship from every other social challenge that exists, and layers of how we approach gender in the different countries. Although, like you mentioned, Reine and Ines, this could have different repercussions in different countries, but there is a common element that is common to being a woman and what potential we see. I think today, all three of you, Reine, Abbas, Célia, Corneil, and Ines, Cheniour, you have set a great example, each in her own domain, and have proved that women could imagine themselves in different roles. As basic as that sounds, it's sad sometimes that we need to remember this, but it's really important to provide space and a platform to talk about that very openly. So thank you everyone for joining us at the fourth Digital Saloon, which is about women entrepreneurship in the MENA region, challenges and success stories, but also very, very deep criticism of how it is being approached and dealt with. I want to thank my guest speakers who were very kind to be very open and give us from their very, very precious time. Reine Abbas from Lebanon, Célia, Corneil, and Ines from Tunisia, each in her own voice and perspective. You can find all of our material on the different social media platforms, and we will hope to be joining you soon in our fifth Digital Saloon. Stay tuned and see you soon.
Hi, I'm Ayari, CEO MENA of the LEAP Initiative.
And I'm Jörg Schäfer, founder and CEO Europe. Together,
we thank you for watching the saloon
and want to ask you to check out our YouTube channel and our website.
Stay tuned and do not hesitate to reach out to us.